Hello and welcome to Spec. This is a Chinese car and I've driven it for 7,000 kilometers. We all can see specs on a paper, but when it comes down to actual driving feel and all the features in real life, we need to drive the cars over a longer period of time. And that means taking the press car down to Germany, taking the press cars into the mountains and Norwegian highways, Norwegian cities and also B-roads. Everything. This car has been thoroughly tested by me. And now I want to answer some questions. Many people are skeptical to Chinese brands and Chinese cars. How do they actually hold up and how do they work in real life? Well, today I'm going to go through everything I like and dislike about this car after around 7,000 kilometers. So let's jump in and talk a little bit about the Zeekr 7X. Let's start off with one thing everyone cares about. Range. Range is important in electric cars and even more important when people are comparing and buying electric cars. Many people buy electric cars just because of the range number. My parents-in-law bought a BMW iX, a new one, because it had one of the highest VLTP numbers for an electric SUV. That's the most important thing for many buyers. In my opinion, it's a little bit misunderstood, but I still think overall range in the VLTP cycle is important. First of all, if you are not familiar with the VLTP cycle that we use in Europe, it's way too optimistic. So you will never even reach the VLTP numbers usually. So I just wanted to mention that first. It's way more optimistic than the EPA cycle. This car is rated for 543 kilometers in the VLTP cycle. This is the privileged all-wheel drive, the largest wheels, everything. It's better than the Tesla Model Y performance in the VLTP cycle, and it's a little bit worse than the Tesla Model Y long range. But in general, it's about the same, just to have a baseline to compare it to. What is the real-world range then? Well, it depends, like always. But let's start with my driving here in Norway first, because I'm Norwegian and I think that's a very good place to start. So, I drove from Oslo to Stavanger and then back again. That's a lot of highway. In Norway, we don't have a lot of highways, but from Oslo to Stavanger, which is a southwestern city, it's a lot of highways on that road. And the speed limits are 110 kilometers per hour. People drive faster than that. So let's say there is 75 miles per hour highway, and then we have a little bit of mixed driving in at 80 kilometers per hour inside there, but just short stretches, and the end stretch is also 80 kilometers per hour because it's a two-lane road. But a mixed highway, typical Norwegian high-speed driving, I would say, for a Norwegian road trip. It's considered high-speed. On that stretch, I got 200 watt-hour per kilometer. By my calculation, that means that we have around 480 kilometers of real-world range in Norwegian high-speed conditions. So that's pretty good. That's very close to the VLTP range. Now, if I drove this car just in the mountains, and of course, if I drove it, for example, from Oslo to Bergen, the efficiency would be much better because there is just 80 and 90 kilometers per hour zones in that area because it's two-lane, super curvy roads. I would beat the VLTP estimate in this car. I would beat it, and that's very, very good. Many cars are not able to beat their VLTP estimate. So in summer, I would be able to beat the VLTP estimate by quite a bit in this car. So that's good. Now, if we go down to Germany and drive on the Autobahn, or to Denmark where you have 130 kph, or Sweden where you have 120 kph, it's proper highways. And very comparable and even faster driving than in the United States, especially when you come down to Germany. We are talking 80 miles per hour plus 90 miles per hour, even more if we are using miles per hour. on the Autobahn we are getting much less, but that's super inefficient and a way of driving that's not really possible for many people because of, you know, there are roadworks, there are queues, you have to drive through the night, you have to optimize everything. But let's say we are driving at 160 kph and we have some slow sections with Baustelle, which is roadworks in Germany. Let's say that we have kind of like a mixed driving in Germany. I would say the range is around 320 kilometers of real world range. And that's based on efficiency numbers that I have tested. Just to summarize the range bit, it gets close to its VLTP range in Norwegian high-speed driving. Great, many cars don't do that. So I would say it gets close to its VLTP range, closer than many other cars. I don't know what's happening with the exposure of the camera. Doesn't matter. So that summarizes the range. They don't overpromise anything and underdeliver on the range. I think they are realistic in the range use in the VLTP cycle compared to other automakers. Now, let's move over to charging. How is the charging experience? This car is advertised at 360 kilowatts of maximum DC fast charging. And we all know the maximum charging rate of a car doesn't really matter. It is the curve that matters. But when you have a maximum charging rate of 360, you start to raise an eyebrow. How does that work? Do we have the chargers? Does it really work? Do you have to be super optimized? And I can tell you immediately that you will get 360 kilowatts. You might get up over 400 kilowatts. Up to 414 kilowatts is the maximum charge rate I've gotten in this car. Under promise, over deliver on the charge rate with the Zeekr 7X in Europe. I don't know how it is in other markets, but this is the way the car is advertised in Europe, and you get more than advertised. And not only that, the curve is great. The problem is that you can't use Tesla superchargers to achieve this charging speed because Tesla superchargers will give this car only 68 kilowatts due to the onboard booster on this car. I think it uses the rear inverter, but that doesn't really matter that much anymore because the other charge networks in Europe are so well built out. We have Alpitronics everywhere. We have Ionity that uses a mix of ABB and Alpitronic, and you get the advertised charging speed in this car. I have a little bit of a problem of figuring out the exact curve. I've done so many charging sessions from 10 to 80, from 0 to 100% in this car. But one thing I like about this car is that you always get a good curve. There is no drop off to 50 kilowatts or anything. It's always a good curve with this car on 800 volt chargers or 1000 volt chargers, which is everything except Tesla superchargers, just to make it easy. So this car charges great, and you will always get a great charging sessions. And what does that mean in practical terms? This means that I enter an Ionity station after everyone else, and I leave before everyone else. There is no one that stays as short as me on charging stops down throughout Europe. I just go in there, I stay there for 10 minutes, even charging stops that were 5-7 minutes, and never more than 15 minutes on a charging stop in my entire 7,000 kilometers. I don't think I stayed at the charger for more than 15 minutes unless I did charge testing. This car can do 10 to 80% in 14 minutes, but that's under optimal conditions, and the chargers need to have good cables, and the temperature outside needs to not overheat, the amperage on the cables, and there are so many things to think about when charging such a fast charging car. But in general, it charges very well, and you stay at charge stops for 10 minutes, I would say. That's a comfortable charging stop where you get enough energy to go far enough until you want to stop again. And I think that's absolutely amazing about this car, is that the charging stops are so fast, and it gives you so much flexibility. And yeah, it's just, you don't need to stay half an hour at the charger. Comfort. How is the comfort in this car? And how is the NVH? And are there any rattles in the car after so many kilometers? Actually, in many cars where you have bad build quality, you would usually suspect something after this amount of kilometers already. But there has been no rattles, No issues with quality of the interior, no issues with the doors at all, even though they're automatic, which sounds like a reliability nightmare, but they have worked perfectly fine for me. There has been no issues. They are fast enough where it's not really that annoying. Of course, I like to rip up the doors and then slam them again, and I was really annoyed by the BMW i7 because the doors were so slow. These are a little bit faster, feels a little bit more reliable kinda, and they move out when you move off the sensors, and it works pretty nicely. I'm not sure if I would spec the automatic doors in my car, but seems to work pretty well. Interior feels amazing, nice, no rattles, no squeaks, no issues with the interior quality. Exterior quality as well looks fine. Comfort, amazing in this car. Air suspension is so wafty, it's so nice, it's the perfect road trip setup. It is not as confident as at high speed as many other cars because it is a bit wafty, but if you set the suspension into sport mode, you are perfectly fine. I've driven this car on the Autobahn at 200 kilometers per hour. It is stable. And I heard some motor journalists said that this car was unstable at high speed. I don't agree. But if I have the suspension in comfort at high speed, it's a little bit wafty side to side. That might be what they found out. I don't know. But I don't agree that it's an unstable car at high speed in sport suspension. It is perfect in that terms. 640 horsepower, it's fast, you can pass everyone, you can go up to high speeds. It's fast, 200 to 200 kilometers per hour, and it feels like a very artificial limit. I feel like this car, the performance car, should have at least 250 kilometers per hour top speed, in my opinion, in the performance model. The long range and the rear-wheel drive, sure, 200 kilometers per hour is fine. But if you buy a Tesla Model Y Performance, you get 250, 260 kilometers per hour instead of 205, actually, which is the maximum of this car. It also is a little bit annoying to drive at high speed because over 190 kilometers per hour, it will ding at you and say you have reached maximum speed, like you don't know that happened because you don't get more power on the accelerator. It is an absolutely stupid alarm, and the alarm actually overrides the blinker sound. And on the Autobahn, when driving such high speeds, yeah, well, you can only do it when there is a little traffic, of course, but it's so important to have the blinker sound because you need to know that the blinker is engaged when you are changing lanes, something you do so many times when driving at high speeds on the Autobahn. You change lanes all the time. So that's a design issue in my opinion, and I hope they can just remove the high speed alert altogether. I don't use a route planner usually. I usually calculate myself. Why do I think a route planner is the most important thing in an electric car, or one of the most important things? Top 3 important things. I would say one of them is the route planner. Why do I always review and talk about the route planner? That's because people who come from combustion cars or other EVs, most people buy a car because they want to get from A to B. If the car can't take me from the south of Norway to the North Cape with a press of a button and show me where I need to charge, that's a major failure on an electric car, in my opinion. You need a route planner. It's so important. It's a basic car functionality in an electric car. Not as important in combustion cars because you can just find a gas station and fill up in a few minutes. On electric cars, it is a little bit different because you need to stay longer there. How is the route planner in this car? It is okay. You will get to your destination, which is the most important thing, and you won't run out of charge on the way, and it won't suggest level 2 chargers. It will give you the fast chargers, usually. This car has 2 route planners. It has the new Zeekr navigation route planner. I checked and it hasn't been updated since May. I'm not sure if that's a mistake or not, but that's a little bit annoying to see. I was hoping that the new route planner that they provide you with for testing would be updated weekly or something. It should be like a beta software where you experience all the new things all the time. So this car has 2 route planners and they work in a very similar way. It is way too conservative. It will get you to charges at 20-25%. It will say that you will have 10% there, which is super annoying. It is also annoying in the sense that you can't remove charging stops to get to the chargers at under 10%. 10% is the least. And it doesn't save your preferred networks, at least not the new route planner. I wish it's saved my preferred charging networks so that it could optimize for the different charging networks. But I like that the functionality is there. But since it gets you from the start of your trip to your destination, and it doesn't make you run out of charge, and it gives you good chargers, I would say it's a good route planner that's adequate for this car. I just hope Zeekr can go in and tweak the navigation, and I think we need to jump over to OTA updates, because that's equally important. How does the car update over time? Well, it seems like it's very optimized for OTA updates. It's probably not Tesla level. I'm just making assumptions here. It doesn't seem like it is. I haven't had a single software update since I took this car for my first drive. And it seems like I said, navigation hasn't been updated since May and stuff. But I hope they can get OTAs functioning on this car in a proper way. OTAs are so important, and I want to see that happens. But the software functionality today is great, it's snappy, it has bad translations to Norwegian, which is a very, very unfortunate thing. I sent a mail, or I asked my Zeekr rep actually, if I could translate everything to Norwegian in a proper way, because I know electric cars, and I have worked with professional translation to Norwegian from English, so I hope to be able to help out there, because I want everything to be perfect. It's so unpremium when the software is not translated in a good way, like Teslas are perfectly translated to Norwegian. Aside from that, the software is good, the app is okay, it lacks some functionality, but in general it works pretty well and is included, and you get the phone key. New phone key comes later actually to the Zeekr, where you can drive by just having your phone. That's not possible today, so that's a function it actually lacks. So in general, it has pet mode, car wash mode, camping mode, everything, which is awesome. Pet mode should be on every new electric car. Even some hybrids should have pet mode. Pet mode is so important to me as a dog owner, and it's awesome to see it here. It can't go low enough. It's only 22 degrees Celsius. It should be able to go down to 15 degrees Celsius in my opinion, but just the fact that it has pet mode is so nice and so important to me. And yeah, it has a bunch of safety features in the pet mode as well. So it seems like it works very nice. I've used it a few times, not with my dog in the press car, but just to keep the climate, just to test it out, and seems to work very well. I'm curious to see do some more testing of pet mode in cars once more cars get pet mode. But I have to say props to Zeekr for having pet mode. It's great. Let's talk a little bit about practicality. This is a large car. It is larger than the Tesla Model Y, but it has just about the same amount of space, I feel like. And that's just from the feeling. There are numbers out there to check this out, and you can do that. But in general, the back seats are very roomy, very nice, and you can recline them, something that's awesome. The front seats are pretty good. The passenger seat feels also good, but it can be a little bit crammed. I'm comparing it to a Tesla Model Y, where you can take the seat so far back that you get an enormous amount of space. Everyone will fit in the front seats, but it doesn't go far enough back, and the seat doesn't go low enough down. It goes pretty low down, but this is maximum, and I wish it went a little bit lower, and I do wish it went significantly further back. But for my driving position, I'm 176, I'm 5'9", it works perfectly fine. Trunk space seems nice, but not like super large, and it has a small trunk as well that will fit your charging cable, but nothing else really. I wish the trunk was much larger. It doesn't seem like there is more space than a Tesla Model Y, but doesn't seem like much less either. It's a little bit difficult to say, but seems very practical. Proper SUV. It's not enormous. It's not a 3-row by any means, but it works pretty nice. Something about the rear seats is that you can fold them down electronically and up like the Model Y Juniper. So that's measurable. difference between this one and the Model Y, where the Model Y has more features in that regard. You can take down the seats, and the front seats will move to fit the rear seats down, which is awesome in the new Tesla Model Y. Something this car also lacks is the rear screen. I know the Chinese version has both of these, if I'm not mistaken, and that's nice for Chinese customers. I'm not a Chinese customer. I am in Europe, and I review the European car, and it competes with the Tesla Model Y Juniper, so it lacks a rear screen for the kids, and it lacks the ability to take down the seats electronically from the rear of the car. That's the only two features I think this car is kind of missing from Tesla, aside from the sound system. The sound system in the Model Y Juniper is better. And while I'm talking about the sound system, I can mention the sound system. It is fine, it's not bad, but it lacks bass. And this is the premium Zeekr sound. So at least option that one. I assume that the bass sound system is very bad in the Zeekr 7X, but that's also just an assumption. I talked a little bit about that there were no squeaks and rattles. This is an awesome interior. It feels great. It has matte finishes all around, a little bit glossy plastics on the steering wheel, but nothing that would... It's not gloss plastic everywhere. It's this kind of matte leather / Alcantara finish. So it's a blend between leather and Alcantara in feel. That's just me explaining the feel. I actually don't know what it's made of. It's of course not a natural material. It is a plastic material, but it feels kind of like fake leather blended with Alcantara, and all the surfaces are nice to touch. All the switchgear is pretty nice. Everything feels premium. Doesn't feel like Porsche. Feels more like Audi maybe. So I would compare... I talked to my friend Chris, or Christopher, from Bowie Family EV and Turn Down For What podcast, and he asked me to describe what kind of interior quality this is, and I said Audi, and I think it's similar to Audi and not on the level of Porsche. It's a nice interior for the price. Amazing interior for the price actually, but there are some things I question, like the plastic speaker grills looks a little bit cheap, and also the gloss plastic on the switch gear on the steering wheel is a little bit cheap. Aside from that, amazing. And build quality wise, the interior seems perfect. There are no gaps, nothing, everything lines up. It's a better interior than in a Tesla, I would say. Outside, exterior, door panels, everything seems to line up pretty well. The color on the car is amazing, and I've heard from the Zeekr owner groups that the paint on the Zeekrs are great. So that's very nice to hear as well. So build quality wise, seems nice. Now, I think we are coming to the end of the video very soon. So I just wanted to mention what are my favorite features about this car. And the favorite feature is the road trip ability of this car. It is a road trip monster. You have tons of space, so you can have your whole family on a road trip. You have a nice, comfortable seat that's very wide, I would say. I wish it was a little bit smaller, but then it probably wouldn't fit more people, so I think it's nice in that regard. It has everything you want. It has thigh support, it has lumbar support, it has massaging seats, which are great massaging seats. It has multiple programs. They are heated and ventilated, at the same time. So that's an awesome comfort feature. When talking about road trip ability, you need comfort, of course, but you also need fast charging speeds. This car has fast charging speeds, so you are on your road in no amount of time. You can sit here with massaging seats, you can sit with your laptop, you can answer one email, and you're ready to go when you stop on a charging stop. Amazing! And it's really like that. You just stop and then you go. And when driving around Norway, I didn't use the route planner. I just waited until I had like 10-15% left, and I just took an exit to a charger with like the little symbol on the highways for a charger, and I went in there. Oh, nice! It's a 300 kilowatt charger or 400 kilowatt charger. Sometimes it was a 200 kilowatt. But doesn't really matter. Oh well, it does matter for the road trip speed, but if you get like a 300 kilowatt charger, it will hold 300 kilowatt flat. 400 kilowatt, it will go to 400 and dip down and then dip up a little bit, but it doesn't really matter. The average time you stop is very, very low. So you just pull out your laptop, you sit here with massaging seats, ventilated seats, heated seats, whatever you want, and the cabin is so silent, you don't hear anything around you. You can answer one email while you're listening to music, podcast, or a book, or whatever, and you are just on your way again. And it's just an amazing experience, and something I have been wishing for years. Just the road trip ability of this car. One thing I also like is the software in general is better than many other cars. It's not Tesla level, it's not as fast, and but it's stable, and it works, and it gives you what you want. It has more settings than any Tesla, so it's a little bit more cluttered. It has one menu too many, and sometimes one button too many to press, or one tap too many to press, but it's not the end of the world. It's a good software that I like. So the road trip ability and the software that's better than many other automakers are something I really, really like about this car. And yeah, the road trip ability is really many features together that work. Oh, that's a Finnish Lapphund. I have a Finnish Lapphund. I think that was my experience for this around 7,000 kilometers in this car. And I think I have tested it thoroughly. Let's just summarize it. I have had no charging issues with the car. I had one surge on the ABB unit, but I'm pretty sure that's the ABB unit's fault, and it did charge regardless, and it didn't throw any faults. So no charging issues, I would say, on this car. No charging issues at all. That's pretty impressive, actually, for a new car launching in a new market where I test all kinds of chargers. 2, I have had no software crashes or glitches that have been... The system hasn't restarted once, and I have had no issues aside from the translation issues to Norwegian, which I think Zeekr needs to contact me so we can fix that. So, and the road trip ability and real world use case for this car is amazing. It works perfectly fine. It's a great car to drive. It's a great product, and I do actually recommend it if you're looking for a step up in luxury. You're looking for better road trip speeds than Teslas. It did pretty well in the 10% challenge. Check that out on the Autospec testing. Check out all my other videos on this one over on Autospec reviews. And thank you so much for watching this Autospec video. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you didn't, leave a comment down below. If you did enjoy it, leave a comment down below with what you did enjoy, so that I can take some feedback. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in another video very, very soon.